Yes. Yeah. So Tante, today kita bakal lebih, will be more like talk show ya. So and I know I've seen your slides. I've reviewed it and I realized Tante, I also have depression nih Tante. Usually I'm depressed when I'm doing Daniel fasting, depressed nggak bisa makan daging gitu. Jadi itu depressed banget. And yeah, so really looking forward to your sharing today. I just want to share also that today's audience is there's men single, women single, and also married couple in this session today. So yeah, Tante, looking forward to your sharing today. And oh yeah, guys, by the way, we along the session, you're allowed to ask some questions if you have during the sharing from Tante Alice, and you can share them and ask directly to the menti.com if you want it to be anonymous inside the chat room. And the chat right now, there's the menti.com that link. You can press on it, or you can just private message Bella, because Bella is very famous for never spilling any secret or any questions. Even Afan doesn't know anything about anyone's life from Bella. So don't worry, Bella is a very safe person to share the questions to if you missed out the link. And yeah, Tante, so I will hand it over to you, yeah, for the sharing, and I think you'll be sharing a PowerPoint slide juga.
Okay. Thank you. I call your name Jame, is it?
Yes, Jame. Jame will be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. It's really a privilege to be here. Yeah. I know you are gem, but you are also gems for the church. Okay. Okay. So it's good to be here. And before we start, I would like to know, because Jame said that sometimes he got depression. So I would like to know, how are you? Maybe you can just type one word, to represent how are you. Maybe happy, excited, sad, boring, tired, burnt out. I don't know. Just try to have one word here, so I know.
In the chat for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah. I
like
got jet
excited,
lag, excited,
exhausted, burn.
burnt out. Yes, sleepy, calm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're also entering the second time of lockdown. Yeah,
Okay.
it feels like 2020,
Kenyang,
2020 all over
uncertain.
again.
Yeah, scared. So I see some positive emotion, but I see some also I don't say it negative, but I mean like, yeah, tired, scared, bored, yeah, uncertain. Yeah, thanks for sharing. So at least I know where you are now. Yeah, because we are talking about real things, about who are we like now, right, the here and now. So I will share this PowerPoint, then I will share this to you also. Yeah, so if you want it, I can just share this. Okay. So today we talk about depression and anxiety, but I want us to be relaxed. Okay, don't make me anxious and depressed. Okay. Yeah. So this is the title that given to me. So is it okay to feel anxious or depressed? The answer is yes, totally okay. Yeah, because I mean, anxiety and depressed is not your identity. It's not your identity. It's not who you are. It's a condition. So we can heal from this. Yeah. So this is the facts. This is the facts that I take from US. If you see, actually younger adult have many like that anxiety and depression disorder. So if you look at, I think your age is around here, right? So it's around 50% plus. But if we look at the facts in Indonesia, actually it's like, even for the younger generation, like below 15, it's already 68%. Yeah. So I mean, like, can you see? So if we are here 100%, means at least 56 or maybe around that, we have this depression and anxiety. So this is the data that I got, this recent information. If you look at this, anxiety is around 36, depression around 28. In total, that have both of it is 41%. So hopefully this number doesn't make you feel like, oh, it's okay. to be depressed and anxious, of course it's okay, right? But then we don't stay in that condition. If we have that, it means we need to know how we can recover or we can heal from that situation.
So chances are as we get older lebih less depressed ya. Tante.
No,
And
actually,
less anxious.
yeah, yeah. Actually, from the research, the more older you are less anxious actually.
More relaxed ya.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe udah kebal kali ya.
Kebal. I think kebal will be the right word.
Okay, so anxiety is when you care too much. Okay, depression is when you don't really care. Yeah. So yeah, this is a simple way to share the difference. So if you think too much, you care too much, then you become anxious. But when you got depression, you become like you want to care, but I can't really care. Okay, so having both of it, people say it's like hell. Okay, yeah. So this is from DSM-5. If you look at the clinical side, it's called like this. If you have all these things, mean you have the depression. Okay, so is it about sleep? You feel irritated, a lot of guilt, and then your energy too. Yeah, can be really low, lethargic. Yeah, and then also it's hard to concentrate. Yeah, maybe you lose your appetite, and then also sometimes there is also suicidal. Okay, so this is for depression. I just give a very simple way, because this is not a webinar. Yeah, just a like a very short way to so that you understand. So if people ask about what's the cause, it can be because of the past abuse. It can be physical, sexual, even verbal abuse, and also the age, and then also, of course, medication, or maybe conflict that never been solved, or maybe grief, genetic as well, and or maybe serious illness. Okay, so this is the cause of depression. And our life, I mean, we all live with I mean, we always have problem in our life, right? There is no way that our life is smooth, there's everything is good, right? Of course we have something in our life, sometimes problem, maybe abuse, or maybe conflict with other people, so it's always happen.
Tante, I think your slides ketutup deh.
Ya memang ditutup.
Oh, okay. I thought you ketutup.
Ya, I tutup dulu.
Oh, tutup
Ya,
dulu, okay.
iya. Tutup so I can see your face. Yeah, I want to see where are you depressed or anxious. Okay, they may calm down, kata Gio. Okay. Okay, and then so this is the anxiety disorder. This is according to DSM-5 as well. You can see this is like there's a long list of anxiety disorder, but there's also OCD, yeah, and also trauma or other related stressor. So there are like a lot of like name for it, yeah, include like hoarding, let's say even substance, everything, OCD and everything, yeah.
Tapi kok orang oftentimes use OCD as someone who's like a clean freak ya, like cannot see something not organized. Is that part of being like anxious?
Yeah, but then sometimes people just say, oh, I'm OCD because I'm so tidy, I'm so rapi, but actually, yeah, maybe there's a wrong term about the OCD, yeah. But usually,
So they've been using it all wrong.
yeah, it's just like maybe it's just like a joke or something. But actually, OCD people is really hard, because the anxiety is really high. Sometimes even when you want to sit on your table, I see many children even they have this OCD. They cannot touch anything. Even their bed may not be touched with by anybody.
Oh, that one yang extreme end ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what happened actually in the brain? Yeah, I want to share. Actually, our brain, we call it triune brain. We have three parts of the brain. So the depression and anxiety, if we look at this, this is rational brain where we can the reasoning, everything is here. But then we have the old brain which is called mammalian, no, it's reptilian brain. So this is where the fight, fly, and freeze happen. So when there's threats or you feel fear or anxious, so this one will take over, yeah, and then this one will be off. So what happened usually, how we heal is like we activate this part, because of course in this part there is something we call like amygdala. It's just as big as almond, but that's where your emotion and your memory, your dreams, your even playfulness is there. It's all about emotion. It's there in the middle brain.
So that
So
means the anxious and the depression part comes from the middle brain, though.
yeah, it can be like because of the threats. This is the reptilian brain. So this is the lowest brain.
Oh,
Animals, all animals have
Okay.
that this kind of brain. Our brain is only this big, right? But it's like 3 parts. So when we are fearful or depressed or anxious, this brain cannot really think. Okay, so this one take over.
So there is a psychosomatic effects on the old brain comes from middle brain.
Who is asking?
Yeah, I'm Johan, by the way.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
new
okay.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So actually, this is the reptilian brain. When we have fear or whatever, this one will take over.
Okay.
We will take over, and then this one cannot. This one is just off, cannot do. So usually, what we do is like we have to work with this emotion and feeling. That's why it's called that. If you cannot feel, then you cannot heal. Yeah. So that's why when we are numb, we don't want to deal with it. It's hard for us to heal. Okay. So this is the limbic part. So if I show you, sorry, if I show you with the head model, this is the upper brain, which is your neocortex is here. Okay. And this is our low brain, which is the reptilian brain. So when we are anxious or depressed, it's like this, okay?
mm,
And this is our limbic. This is the limbic, yeah, where the feeling part, the emotion, the memory is all kept
mm,
here. So what we can do is like when this is like anxious or depressed, so the limbic, we can calm the limbic,
mm,
and then it will calm. So you will be calm. You will be in the calm, steady, yeah, relaxed state. Okay.
so basically, focus on the limbic part of it.
Yeah. That's why we need to learn later on how to do self-care, how to make ourselves happy, sometimes the
Oh,
way you, so it's just like this. When you're depressed, it's like this, and then your limbic, right? And then you can, and you feel calm. Okay. So
okay.
if you think why I feel angry, why when I have conflict then I cannot think, I feel depressed or anxious or feel angry or mad, that's because it's like everything is like very overwhelming, so you need to calm yourself like this. Okay.
Mm, mhm,
So actually, God create our brain amazingly, wonderfully. Yeah. And with the neuroscience, these past 20 years, then we learn actually God is so awesome because everything can be repaired. Yeah. So whatever happened, I mean, it always can be repaired. Okay. That's the good thing.
mhm.
Yeah.
Repairable.
Yeah. Repairable. Yeah. Because our God can repair everything. Okay. Uh I just want to show a very short video clip so you understand what's happening in our brain. Then you can understand what I mean with the triune brain. Okay,
Mm,
it takes only a few minutes. Ready?
Depression is a complex disease, one that can be triggered by several factors, including chemical imbalances in the brain, medical conditions, traumatic life events, and genetics. Start lift within just a few weeks, provided you find the right combination of effective treatments. This is Your Brain On, where we explore how the world affects our brains and ourselves. Brain imaging studies show that depression is connected to changes in several parts of the brain, especially in 3 core areas. The first is the amygdala, which regulates emotions like anger, pleasure, and fear. When a person is depressed, the amygdala can become overactive, causing problems with sleep and behavior, as well as balance of key mood hormones. The second area is the hippocampus, which processes memory and regulates stress hormones such as cortisol. One study found it's up to 13% smaller in depressed women, and excess cortisol can stunt the growth of new neurons, creating poor moods and memory. The third main area is the thalamus, which helps link sensory information to good and bad feelings. Problems in the thalamus may be linked to conditions such as bipolar disorder. Changes to these parts of the brain and others mess with key hormones, such as serotonin, which regulates sleep and mood, and norepinephrine, which affects motivation. For some, a depressed mood passes on its own, especially if it was triggered by a particular sad event. But for those with ongoing clinical depression, it can take time to find effective treatment. Stats show sticking with treatment is worth it. One study by the National Institutes of Health showed 80% of people improved within just 4 to 6 weeks of starting medication, therapy, or support groups. Healthy lifestyle choices can help too. Eating a good diet and getting enough sleep can strengthen and repair important brain connections. Overcoming depression may become easier in the future. Scientists are learning more about how factors such as genetics influence depression, which may not only help create new drugs, but also make targeted treatment possible, helping some.
Okay, so that's like a short video for us to understand about depression and anxiety. So now I will continue. Okay, so sometimes people think, is depression and anxiety a sin? Is it possible, or is it sometimes people think that actually depression and anxiety can be, let's say, spiritual failure, okay, or maybe separation from God, or maybe you got cursed, or maybe you are not too close with God, you know. But actually it's not, you know. In the Bible, actually in the scripture, we can see actually a lot of actually anxiety, mental distress, emotional distress actually is there in the Bible. And actually God is fully involved in the compassion and the mercy, okay, and through his love.
So one of the few things that can happen usually from depression and anxiousness can lead to some kind of irrational decision making from some of the past experiences that I've experienced myself. See.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. So actually, if we learn, there are actually four parts I will share after this, okay? But then again, praise Lord, yeah, praise the Lord, because God can forgive us, can heal our disease, and can redeem us with His love and compassion. So there is always hope. Yeah. So actually, this is what your question, Jamie. So actually, we have four dimensions of our growth. Okay.
Growth.
So in Luke 2:52, it's written that Jesus actually grow in wisdom,
Mm.
and then physical, favor with God, which is spiritual, favor with others, means social. Okay.
Mm.
Wisdom is mental, yeah, physical, of course, body. Okay. So
Mm.
actually, if we look at this, we have four dimensions. We have spiritual part of us, we have mental part of us, we have a spiritual, mental, emotional, and social, yeah, and then physical.
Mm.
So it means if a person got depression, it doesn't mean that he's not spiritual. I see many people that they strive, they really try, they try to be to really like close with God, connect with God. They pray, they do their quiet time. That they still have depression.
Depression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's another dimension is the mental and emotional part. Yeah, so that's why if there is anybody, let's say, around us, you know, that has this, actually we supposed to have the compassion. And I think church community actually is really helpful for the healing. Yeah. So if we can
So
look at this later on, I don't know if in the group you can. I have an activity that you can use in the group after this is to
yeah,
assess where you are in terms of your spiritual, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
I
Because
see. So the four pillars itu the spiritual side, mental side, emotional side, and physical side ya tante ya.
physical side, yeah, emotion and social can be one. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Favor with others, right? So some people, if we don't have these things balanced, let's say if the physical
Hmm.
part is healthy, but then the spiritual side is not healthy or mentally is not healthy, then you know the balance is
Hmm.
not balanced, then you will have like some problem with that. Yeah. But if we can balance all these things, that's why we need to be aware. How am I? You know, spirituality, am I doing well? How about me mentally? How about me emotionally? Yeah,
Hmm.
physically. And this is a condition. It means last month maybe I'm depressed, but maybe now I'm not. Okay, or maybe now I'm anxious, but maybe another week I'm not. Okay, so this is a
Hmm.
condition that actually you can move. It is not static. It's a process. You know, it's dynamic. So having this understanding, then we understand that actually people that is very spiritual, it can be mentally uh, anxious or depressed
And
actually. Okay.
like the mental state might spiritual can be close could be good, but on the other hand, if mentally is not good, can also lead to anxious and depression anyway. Yeah.
But for sure, because Bible and spiritual can of course it can heal, you know, it can help. So let's
Mm.
say if we as people with mental and emotional, let's say disorder, you know, spiritual part can really help. You know, when
Mm.
people are close with God, they have they grow in their faith, you know. And this is the verse that I like. Can you see
Mm.
this? Yeah. With weakness, insult, hardship, depression, or whatever, you know. But then when I'm weak, then I'm strong, because actually when we are weak, God's grace actually is made perfect. We
Mm.
can experience when we are weak, then we are strong. I love this verse because I went through hardship myself, depression, but then I know that, you know, by God's grace, I can be strong. Yeah. So it's
Mm.
a very nice, actually, it's a amazing spiritual journey, actually. Yeah.
Mm.
So Richard say weakness with a knowledge of it is the actually fittest seat and subject for God to perfect his strength in. Yeah. So I like this word. So it's okay for us to be weak. Yeah. I mean, not to stay weak. I mean, sometimes we are in that condition, we are weak, or maybe physically we are ill, we are sick, but it's okay because we can be healed. Okay.
Mm.
And this is also another verse from 2 Corinthians about the sufficient of grace I shared just now, dealing with the thorn in your flesh. Yeah, sometimes just like Paul said that he really begged God to take away the thorn, but God say no, because actually by that thorn in the flesh, actually God's grace can make his weakness become his strength. Okay, and then so my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Yeah, so that's why we don't boast. Yeah, but we boast sometimes in our weakness, so that power of Christ may rest upon us. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So I want to show some example about many Bible verse that show actually there are mental illness is real. Okay. If you know David, okay, David, the king, he can fight the Goliath and win. But actually, if you look at the Psalm, he write it with a lot of like fear,
Yes.
guilt, yeah, loneliness, and a lot of loss as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
think
currently
because
reading Psalms, and David do share a lot of struggles in his journey.
yeah, it's so true. And I do like Psalm because sometimes it start with like depression or guilt, but then it always ends with joy and victory.
Mm.
Every end of the
True.
Psalm
That's
is
true.
always like that. Yeah. And Elijah, we know that, yeah, prophet, yeah, uh, he has a lot of like victory. You know, he can fight all these things, yeah. But then at the end, he also ever experienced feel defeated and discouraged and afraid. Yeah.
Mm.
And Job, yeah, I don't have to read, but I can send it to you. Yeah, Job also have a lot of like suffering,
Yeah.
physical illness as well. Yeah. Moses as well, anger, betrayal, and there
Mm.
are times that he feel like I want to give up, you know, helpless, that kind of feeling, very chaos, yeah, a lot of sin. He just cannot tahan, yeah. Okay.
Mm.
And also Jeremiah. If we see Jeremiah have different things. Some of us, I believe, we also experience feeling rejected. Yeah. That's why
Mm.
Jeremiah is like we call him the weak prophet. So some of us maybe feel rejection in life, loneliness.
Rejection. Yeah.
Yeah. Jonah also, he feel, yeah, mad, got mad. Yeah. I better die than to live, right? Yeah. That kind of
Mm.
feeling sometimes come to us. But what's the truth? Yeah. The truth is in whatever depression or anxiety or rejection, loneliness, whatever we can mention just now, God was with them. God is very close, very near. Okay. And I love this verse that, you know, actually when we cry out, actually Lord hears us and he will deliver us from all our trouble. And Lord is very close, very near to the brokenhearted, and he will save us. Yeah. So that's the promise from Bible, and it's also another verse that say Jesus. I mean, Jesus is the healer, our wonderful counselor, right? He is the one that gives us all the comfort in all our trouble. Yeah. So this all Bible verse really bring hope. Yeah. And I want to share why this is from Lao Tzu. Yeah. So why people depressed, you know, because we are living in the past, and why we are
Mm.
anxious because we are living in the future. So we are anxious, we are worried about what's in the future, right? Yeah. So I just want to show this because a lot of depression and anxiety actually come from here. Our
Mm.
now is so small. That's why just now I asked, when we start, how do you feel?
No.
Where are you? Yeah. Because our past, if our past is so big, we will be trapped with our regret, about our past. Why? A lot of why. Why I have to face this? Why this happened to me? Why I have to be in this family? Why and why and why? Right? And then, but if we think about future, too big is in the future, then we have a lot of fear and worry. That's why Matthew 6 say that, every day have their own, problem, right? So we have to just live in the now. So this is the small now. This is the one that make a lot of depression and anxiety. But what about this? This is how we have to live our life. Yeah, the now should be big. Of course, we have a bit of past because we learn from the past, but we need to have a bit of future as well. We have to plan, we have to think for our future, but we need to really embrace and be mindful. This is what we call being mindful. So our choice, if we don't want to be depressed, then we need to learn to be mindful. Enjoy.
This is a really good one. I like this one.
So is it mindful, or you want to be mindful? Yeah. So let's say like Jeffrey now in the quarantine, you can just enjoy your time. Like, I see, maybe you're in the room, but you can enjoy maybe the music, just be in the here and now. And when you're mindful, then you are grateful and you are joyful, right?
Does Jeffrey feel like so close, so far from Tasha?
Yeah, but when we are mindful, sometimes we miss a lot of things that we can actually even savor or enjoy. I mean, let's say we sit there with the people that we love, but we don't see that, because we are busy with our handphone, talking maybe business about with somebody else. Okay, so we need to train. This one is about training, practice ourselves. Yeah, even now we can practice the mindfulness. So how do you feel now? I mean, just now I asked at first, right? And how about now? Let's say looking at Jame's joy and laughter, what do you feel? Yeah. Do you enjoy it? Yeah. Are you here? Or are you thinking about other thing else? Yeah. So this is about being mindful. And I think we learn mindfulness from Jesus. Yeah. Jesus is very mindful. That's why he is very sensitive. Yeah. Remember when the woman that come to him and then touch his clock, he know it. He just know it because he's so mindful. Yeah. Okay, so for the depressed people, include us, if we are as Christian or disciple, I think these are the simple tips: is the connection with God, spirituality, connection with one another. That's why having this kind of community is really helpful. Yeah, because you can share and then people listen to you. When people listen to us, it's also a healing. Okay, so having community, you don't feel lonely. You have one another, and then you need to learn to have self-care as well. To just have your me time. Not keep thinking about other people. Of course, we need to do that. And then we love to do that, but then we need to also have our me time. Self-care, do things that you like to do, and also the we care as a group. Yeah, so I know that sometimes you can play even using the virtual. You can still have your we care for one another, and of course mindfulness, we talk about it, and also playfulness. So a lot of people that get depression and anxiety, actually they are very heavy and stressed and tense. But actually playfulness, which is lighthearted, is very very important in our life. We need to be playful. So it's okay to play, play whatever you love to play piano, dance, write poems, maybe make video, and maybe
Gio, don't use this as an excuse to play video games to press, yeah, Gio.
we need to have it, yeah, but not too much, not everything.
Not too much, Gio. Not too much.
I will share the balance, yeah. I will just give some tips so that we can overcome. I mean, if we have a bit of depression or anxiety, then we know how. So the coping, of course, and then the healthy routine. People with routine usually don't really get depression or anxiety. And of course, activity and hobbies and how you manage your time. Okay. Yeah. So this is I don't know whether you ever watched it. This, yeah, but do you ever know the story about the heaven and hell? Yeah,
No,
yeah. So do you want to listen to story?
of course.
Hmm? Are you sure you want it?
Okay, ask the audience then. Now I'm scared.
Huh?
Boleh tante hajar.
Yes.
Ajar,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. Let's do it.
Okay, so you can close your eyes or you can just listen like this is also okay. So this is a story about an old woman that nearly actually end of her life, but then dia nggak jadi mati gitu loh, balik lagi gitu ya, nggak jadi mati gitu. So and then she smiled and whispered to her children. She said that I have seen the great hereafter. Then the son asked, "What's the great whereafter? Heaven and hell. I have seen the both," she said. And then she started to explain. I came upon the door, and behind it was hell. What I saw there confounded me. There was a dining hall filled with rows of tables, each table teeming with a magnetic, like it's like a very delicious food. And then people sit around the table. Yeah, but they are all sick, whining, hunger, depressed, tired. So as I come closer, I realized that actually each of them held a very long spoon. With it, they could reach the feast, but the spoon was too long. Though they tried and tried again, they couldn't bring any nourishment to their mouth. So in spite of all the abundance before them, they were starving, depressed, anxious. Yeah. And then she continued, so I left this horrid place and opened a new door, one that led to heaven. Inside, I was surprised to see that very same scene before my eyes. A dining table, the dining hall filled with all the delicious food, yummy, yummy food, and also a marvelous feast. But instead of mourning with hunger, the people around that table were sitting contentedly, talking with one another, enjoy the food, and they are filling with that abundance, you know. So like those in hell, these people were also holding a very long spoon. So it's the same situation, the same feast, the same food, the same dining table, the same everything, and the same long spoon as well. So as I watch, a woman dipped her spoon into a bowl of stew before her, but rather than struggling to feed herself, she extended her spoon out and fed the man seated across from her. This person now satisfied and no longer hungry and give thanks and return to the favor. Then suddenly I understood what's the difference between the hell and heaven. It's the same things, yeah, but it's like everything is the same, but the person is different.
Different.
So I would like us to see this like this is only 1 minute video clip, yeah. So I like this, yeah. Okay, so that's a story, yeah.
Wow.
Story about hell and heaven. Basically, if people with depression and anxiety, they need another people in their life.
Mm.
And then they need community, a group. But this is a group, just like the story I shared with you. Depends on who are the person, Are they feeding themselves or do they care? Yeah. So I do see actually in Gem, like you are like this video clip. That's why I prepared it. Yeah. So I
That's a
think,
really good video, Tante.
yeah. How about
Really
the story?
helps us to put things in perspective. See,
Mm, yeah. How about the story, Jamie?
it was good because it makes me realize that it comes back to not the place, but it's really about the people that is in that place, right?
Mm,
And yeah, with that long spoon nggak bisa fit myself gitu, but when we have each other, then we can help fit with each other gitu. Yeah. Maybe also I have a question, Tante, earlier. Like the one thing that I think very interesting is that from the four pillars that you shared with us on the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. Physical, I can categorize it as eating healthy and exercise. Spiritual will be your devotion time, quiet time with God, and emotional slash social will be like your friends and the people around you. But um, I can't figure out on the mental side. How do you keep in check your mental in your suggestion?
okay. So actually, mental is about here, right? God give us this. Yeah. That's why
Mm.
if we think about the mind, even like if we talk about repentance, is the change of our mindset, right? The way we
Oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah. Even in Roman 12, it say like, it's like transform of your mind, right? Not
Mm.
open, but then transform. So mind can be, let's say, yeah, mental. Okay. Okay. So let's say this part, right? I
Right.
can say, let's say, when I do quiet time, I pray, I read Bible, and the connection me and God, I can say this is spiritual. But
Mm.
sometimes we also study the Bible, right?
Mm.
And then really deep, like you use the concordance or whatever, right?
Right.
Then this can be also mental. You read books, okay? You learn about new knowledge, a lot of things. So it's a change of mindset is all here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Change of.
So actually, we can spend our time, let's say, have our own walk with God, very close with God is our spirituality. Yeah, that part. But when you want to understand Bible more, you study about it deep. That can be also here. Okay, so it can
Mm.
be both part also. Yeah.
So it's like self. I see things and whether I keep on struggling in that point of view, but step back and see it in the bigger picture gitu ya, Tante ya.
Yeah, it's about here. It's about the
The mind.
mind. Mental is here. Emotion is here.
Yes.
So we have to like everything have to be like integrated between
Agreed.
our spiritual, our mental, our emotion, and our body. Yeah,
Mm. That's a really
because
good.
that's how God create us. Yeah, that's how God create us. So actually,
Yeah.
this is the exercise that I would like you to have later on, maybe in the group. Just
Okay.
write the four things, and then you can think how I take care of my spiritual. Maybe you can write like maybe 3 or 4 bullet point here.
Right.
Maybe pray. Let's say for me, I really love pray walk. Okay, my pray walk really helps me to
Mm.
have my spirituality, increase it, and mentally you can have few bullet point here and then here, and then just be honest where you are now. Let's say 1 to 5, where are you? Maybe spiritual, I'm 3. Let's say, okay.
Mm.
Mentally, I think I'm 4. Maybe emotionally, I'm 1. Yeah, physically maybe I'm
Mm.
1 because maybe I don't do exercise or whatever. Okay, and then you can be honest about it and then
Mm.
think how I want to grow using solution focus. Yeah, you can ask TJ and Sonia about it, right? And then you can
Solution
do it.
focus.
Let's say, okay, if now I'm 3, how do I want to improve? Maybe I will write I want to be 4. Maybe physical one I want to be 4. Maybe this I want to be 3. And then you can add it. What you can add, what can you do differently, and what can you do less? Maybe less junk food, more exercise. Okay, so that's a simple way. Maybe
Mm.
the group, and then you can talk about it. So you can have like we call it
Yeah.
check, health check for your spiritual, mental,
I'll check.
emotional, and physical. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Okay, I'm almost done. I'll just share a few more slides.
yes.
Okay. So this is the verse from Timothy. Yeah, God give us not spirit of fear, but power and love and self-control. Yeah. And then of course we need to be happy, playful, be happy, cheerful, yeah,
Mm.
lighthearted. Yeah. And this is about community. Just now I show you the video, right? So actually community or group is really helpful. Yeah. So people with depression and anxiety, if you they can be supported in the group, I think that's will be really great. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, this is a self-care that you can also do. This is the way how you beat the anxiety or depression.
Oh,
It's
that's a
very
good one.
simple. Yeah, you just need to find what are the way that you have the self-care. Maybe just comfort food, or maybe just all this, like maybe painting,
Right.
cycling,
Come back to the
maybe,
basic, yeah.
yeah, very basic. Actually, the way to heal is not usually not huge things, but it start from tiny thing, one step
Anything.
at a time. Yeah. But
Mm.
if you realize and then you become intentional, you really have
Mm.
self-care, then you will be healthy. Okay.
Mm. Yes,
And
yes.
this is the tips I want to give to you. So just now you talk about, okay, playtime, but not too much. Okay.
Not much.
You have to have it all in balance. Focus time, let's say you work or study. Okay, this is the focus time. But
Right.
we also need the physical time, and we need to have enough sleep, and of course the connecting time. Yeah, to connect like today. Yeah, and then playtime as well.
Yeah.
And this is not only for adults. So it's good if we can train our children since they are young to have all these things balanced. And downtime, you don't have to have any task or any
Yeah.
goals. Sometimes you just need to have sometimes just wandering around, just enjoy the breeze, and then maybe enjoy the tea, the music. You don't have to think about
Mm.
the work. You need to have this kind of downtime, and of course, the time in as well.
I
So
see.
this is how you need to have this optimum brain. Yeah. So what about you? Yeah, you can use this also to check. Yeah, because if you can balance all these things, then your brain will be healthy. Yeah, of course. Then yeah, hopefully you don't get, if let's say the circumstances or situation can bring you like maybe burden or maybe negative feeling, but somehow if you can balance it, it can be very helpful. Okay, so
Mm.
that's about it. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Tante. It's really, really helpful, even for me, because I'm a person who have hard time sleeping because I have too many things going on in my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
So this really helpful. This is very helpful to me, see, to be very honest.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing, Tante.
Yeah.
Maybe from Bella, have you collected some questions that the audience might have for Tante Alice?
Okay, so now we have a Q&A, but we don't actually have that much time. But I'll read out some of the questions that we have.
The interesting one, maybe like 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah, I think some people were curious how overlooked is anxiety and depression now, and counseling in Indonesia, and how many people still look down on those people who are going through the same symptoms.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, it's quite challenging in Indonesia because if you look at the from a World Health Organization, actually, like for us in the third world country, actually the depression, whatever mental disorder, it can be 85%. Actually, I mentioned just now is 50 plus, right? But actually, for
Wow,
the
Indo
country can be
ya.
yeah 85%. And actually, of course,
Wow.
the help of the professional is not easy in Indonesia. And let's say to compare with Australia, let's say just like the closest one, with our population 275 millions, we supposed to have 40,000 of professionals. But now you know how many we have? Guess.
No.
We have only
Uh,
870 psychiatrists and less than 2,000 psychologists or counselors. So that's
What out of
like,
the 40,000 that we need?
yeah. Yeah, so it's good like to know like Grace, and then I think like Sonia also take the master in
This is adding to the population.
yeah, adding to the population at 2 or 3, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering that. And yes, I agree. We need a lot of people in our field to tackle and help people cope with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another interesting question is overthinking and worrying about the worst case scenario, like in our lives, a form of anxiety, and how do we systematically stop from that overthinking or over worrying?
Yeah. So whatever is over is no good, right? Overthink, overfeel, over whatever is no good. So yeah, of course we need to train ourselves to be aware. That's where the boundary comes. We all need to learn about our boundary, what's enough for us. Yeah. So I think knowing boundary, like in the Bible also say like, let the yes be yes, let the no be no, because more than that is come from the evil, right? So I think learning knowing our boundary, how much we can take, it's also very helpful. Let's say even having that in our mind can be also very helpful. Let's say if you know that you are almost overthinking, then you can learn to be more mindful. Remember the one that I show you? When you know like my mind is too full, then maybe you have to like bracket it out a bit and then just try to be mindful in the here and now. Yeah. Do what you
Maybe
can.
one of the way also sharing those worry to your close friends, yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
community.
Sharing
Yeah.
also very helpful. Yeah.
Mm.
And of course, like if you have the Bible verse that can be like Philippians 4 verse 8 is also very helpful. Whatever is noble, whatever is true, whatever is holy. So like you make the checklist. Is it true? No, then throw it. Is it useful? Is it no? If not, then just throw it. Yeah. Is it holy? If not, then don't think about it. So just
Like
what
creating your own SOP to clear out the thought.
SOP, lol.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as easy as this, okay? So I show you here, okay? I have too much thought here, and then I'm aware. So I just need to, right? So I know I have another one. It's too much, right? Nah, yeah. It's called now. It's not no more over. It's just enough. Okay.
Hmm.
I think having like a discipling, like sharing in the group, then it can help you also to understand. Sometimes maybe we are too sensitive, or maybe we are people actually with anxiety. Usually they are very perfectionist. It's never enough. When they do excellence, they feel like it's not enough. So be aware about that. As long as you do your best, then you feel it's enough. Otherwise, then you will always feel it's not good enough. It's not good enough. That's also another thing. Yeah. That's a simple way.
Mhm.
Okay, being mindful and then learn how you cope with that, and then if you're aware, then yeah, just throw it. It's called like bracketing. Okay.
Okay, we're getting
Bracketing.
a lot of questions for now, tapi I'm trying to pick the ones for
So
yeah.
don't take it back. Okay, then put it here. No. Okay, when it's
Throw it away.
Yeah, it shows everyone have a lot of thoughts. So, what's the difference between anxiety and insecurity? I think linked to how do we also find connection when with others when we feel really isolated and lonely?
Mm, okay. So actually, it's all kind of feelings. It's different kinds. So if you ask about, is anxiety different from insecurity? Yeah, it's different words, right? So it's different feeling actually. Okay, I will show you another one. So it's good. Maybe I will just send it later on to Bella, and then I think you can just
Mm.
share it. This is I call feeling wheel. So if you know if this is how I say it. If you can feel, then you can heal. Okay. So you need to be aware. I will share this to you. Can you see this?
Oh.
Yeah. So these are the emotion. This is the negative one. Here is the positive one. Okay, let's say just now you talk about insecurity. Where is the insecurity? Okay, here, see?
Oh, this is very
Insecurity
helpful.
and anxious, it comes from the feeling scared. Okay, yeah. So if you're aware about this, don't throw it, no, don't like kick it, no, bye bye, no. You need to admit acceptance, accept that okay,
Acceptance.
I'm insecure, and then I know I'm anxious, and in terms of like you can learn from Bible as well, find insecurity, how you can grow, you can find that topics and study out. Yeah, that's from spiritual side. But
This
on other side,
really helps segmenting your emotion, yeah.
yeah, and this is all negative, let's say I have guilt, or maybe I feel stupid, or I feel isolated, lonely. So you are aware that loneliness and isolated is actually come from
Part
sadness.
of
Okay, so if you are aware about
Mm,
this, then how you train using this is like this. Let's say when you are aware, let's say, okay, now what do I feel? So, okay, maybe I feel this and this. Then you can pray and then think about what kind of feeling I want to have.
oh,
Maybe instead
jealous
of
is part of man.
yeah, yeah. So you have this, Jame?
Langsung spot on. Jame, do you have it?
Yeah. Oh no no no! I'm just reading.
Yeah. So we need to be honest, about how we
Jealous of
feel.
not having.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe here,
Bu,
and then you can actually think
boleh
about
sebelum pulang ada metal polisher itu nggak, Bu?
siapa
Yang
itu?
Apa ini?
oh,
Okay, I hear something. I don't. So you can think. So this is the way you can use it daily. If you have this kind of feeling, then you can use it daily to be aware. Because if you are aware, then when you can feel, then you can hear. Okay. People that cannot feel, they cannot hear. And then another way is what kind of emotion you want to have. Let's say instead of feeling insecure, yeah, I want to be hopeful. Let's say, okay. I want to be maybe cheerful. This is how you help yourself to be like emotionally healthy. Okay. So we have spiritual part, using with the Bible, with the Word of God, and you can train yourself also using this feeling wheel to help you to understand your feeling, and then you are aware. Okay, I want to be here. Okay, it's intentional. Yeah, intentional. So for example, I remember when the first time after married, and when I had my first kid, first son, I have in my heart that I want to become a joyful mom. I decide I want to be a joyful mom, and from that on, I know that I am a joyful mom. It's about it being intentional about what you want to have. Yeah, what kind of feeling. Okay, so does it answer?
Yeah. So I think that graph will help other people also like see what kind of emotions they're going through, and also talk about it with the people close to you, the people who really care about you. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
We have another question. I think we'll have a couple of more questions before going to breakout because we're flooding in with a few.
Flooding.
Yeah. Jadi the next one itu is always overthinking and worrying about worst case scenarios a form of anxiety, and how do we systematically stop from overthinking or over worrying that? Like I think they're talking about like the practical. How do you go from having that thought to dismissing it or coping with it?
Okay. So I think actually if we have, let's say, the worst scenario, which is sometimes is very good. Yeah. I mean, you plan for the optimist and pessimistic one, right? So having the plan and thinking about it is good. Actually, you can do the pros and cons, and see what's like, if the best is this, but if the worst is this, just plan and think about it, but not worry about it. Yeah. And again, about overthinking, I think I did like answer. It's about knowing your boundary, how much you want to think. You just need to be aware, knowing yourself. Oh, I know it's too much already. Or if you can be like really humble, then you can also ask this from the people around you. Please let me know if you think I am, you know, overthinking, over talk, oversensitive. Just being humble to just ask people maybe in the group or in the family to be like help us to be aware. Yeah.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah. Another way is like actually a paper. Yeah, can hold a lot of things. Yeah. So if sometimes if you have like a lot of things, you can just write it down, do your mind map. Write it down, because once it's coming up from here to here, then you will be less anxious. Yeah, that's why having notes I do have like this with some of my client, rather than they have it all in their mind, it's very full and overwhelming. So they start to have like many books. So let's say I show you, I have like this kind of paper, this size, just to correct. Then maybe you have a book, a nice book just to do the to-do list or whatever. And then you have another book that, you put it in the time, like you have a time management for that. Okay, so every people, they are different, but you need to know the way that works for you. But again, a paper can hold many things. It can hold your problems. It can hold your um, thought, your dream, your plan, whatever. So it's good to just write it down. It's very helpful. Yeah. Some people love to just type it here. Yeah, I have a patient that start to write journal. Then I can see sometimes she shared with me like all the journal, like day 1, day 2, day 3, and then whatever the thought, she write it there. So like put it like, because this is the things, when physically you organize something, somehow psychological you also organize it. That's why sometimes we let children have that messy play. Sometimes they need it, because physically when you are you do messy things and you start to organize it, somehow psychological also you feel you organize it. Yes. What I try to say, sometimes you need to let it, like your physical body need to do it. Okay, maybe do exercise, or maybe just clean up. Sometimes you feel right when you clean up your wardrobe, or maybe you clean up your table, you feel good, right?
It feels so good.
Yeah, so that's the things, when you physically messy things you can clean up or organize, then mentally and emotionally you also feel good. That is also another things. Yeah, simple tips.
And actually, in relation to that, there's a question about downtime. So, what's the best proven downtime activity? And is it meditation? Is it trying to just sit down and space out, or what is the recommended downtime?
Yeah, you can have, let's say, there's like two things, right? The downtime and the what they call it just now, like time in, right? So you can do actually, one is just wandering around. You don't have to do anything, just enjoy the moment, savoring. Okay, but then the other one is take time to reflect. It's like just focus on the sensation, about how you feel, about self-reflection. So actually, if you can combine that, that's also your quiet time. That's why we say it quiet time. Yeah. When you do, let's say, journaling, or maybe you do something, painting or drawing, or just thinking. Yeah. Okay. So you just need to know. So that's why I encourage you to do that. Like in the group, if you can do the heart that I show you, where is it? Yeah, and then you can discuss about it.
Yes.
Then you can write down, what is helpful here, because sometimes the emotional part can be singing, karaoke, and then maybe dancing, maybe just like for me, I really love water. So when I walk, I just try to find whatever water sound, then I will feel very calm. That's why when I walk in the compound, there's a house that I always like bolak balik, because I hear the water, then I feel very calm. That can help me emotionally. So that's also another way.
So it's also important for one person to understand what works better for them, yeah, in different situation.
Yeah. So some people, they start swim, then that helps them, because when their body touch the water, they feel calm, they feel refreshed. Some people I know that they start to dance and sometimes even do kung fu, and then when they are, they have a lot of sweat, they feel
Yes.
good. So it's between physical and emotion. Okay. Like for me, when I walk, I have my prayer walk. That's between the spiritual and also physical. When I move, I feel like I walk with God, and then I can feel God, and then I look at the sky, I see the clouds, I see the sun, then that makes me like very contented. So when I come back spiritually, I'm like full. Physically also I'm full. Emotionally I'm full. Right? Yeah. So you need to know yourself. Basically, that's why I encourage you to do this. then you can talk about it, and then you can add. Maybe now I'm 3, if I want to be 4, then I need to add what I need to add. Sometimes you need to link to something that you really liked when you were younger. I remember I had a married couple, so they fight and they want to divorce, and then I talked to the wife, and then I said, okay, what do you like, what makes you happy? And then she remembered, oh yeah, when I was in college, I love to walk until I'm like, really like sweaty. I love that, and I love colorful things. And then after she got one child, like 1-2 years old, and then she start like get bored because they are like working and working and working, right? So she just start to pray, start to read the Bible, and then start to walk, and then start to wear the colorful clothes. And she's happy. And when she's happy, she help the husband to be happy, and they both are happy. During the quick time, they go out to, I know what Astra ate there. I never. They were there, like just go and see the nature, and that helps them because mentally, emotionally, physically healthy, and of course spiritually as well. So it doesn't have to be like huge things, but it's just like small things. But you know what you like, what makes you happy, because God create you that way, so you need to know.
So one of the key point I would say before finding the solution, figure out the problem first and getting to know your personal, like the things that you need to work on, yeah, Tante, yeah.
Yeah,
Getting to know yourself better and better every day.
yeah. Because actually knowing yourself helps you to know what works for you, what
Mm,
works for you, right? What makes you happy, what makes you feel like, godly, you know
mm,
it, you are the expert of yourself. That's what I
true. That's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, kind of just to summarize a bit, what you said was, which was interesting before, depression is not like so-called people like to say, okay, you're diagnosed with it, that means you're labeled with it. But actually, this is a daily condition. Is that what you were trying to say? That people may go through it and then they may get out of it when they heal, but then it will take some time. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah.
This is for the, of course, the mild condition, okay? But if it goes for a severe one, of course, you need to go and seek for professional help.
And I think that linking to kind of the Bible study that we do, a lot of our thoughts, a lot of our mindsets, like our own struggles and problems are talked about, right, in the Bible studies. So if I'm gonna call you mom because she's actually my mom, if you can share a bit about like how maybe personally how Bible study has helped you and how also having professional help it will really helpful for you also. So maybe just a bit about that. So people who've never gone through it can know.
Oh, so Bella, what you want me to say?
So I don't know, just some of the experiences that maybe you have that maybe you want to share. Maybe like how you think advice lah for us young people who are, sometimes we feel like, if we're anxious or depressed, let's just put that away, like because we need to work, because we need to have our responsibilities or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Maybe just like the daily advice on how we can cope with that. Yeah, especially now it's a pandemic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think from my own life story, I think what really helps me is the time when I come to seek God, because I think I have the mental part, the emotion part, and the physical part, which I really take good care when I was young. But the one part that I don't really like realize is the spiritual part. Having that connection and a close relationship with God. That's really like that one part of the spiritual side is really helpful. Yeah. But then along, of course, in our journey we have the ups and downs, right? So there were times that I think spiritually I'm strong, but then emotionally I'm really down, especially when I went through my own like menopause. Okay, so it's like very depressed, a lot of like, it's not a good time. Yeah. And I try to really strive with my spiritual side, which is really helpful. But then I also I'm aware that I need to also work on like all this part, you know. So I need to learn how to take care of myself and what kind of exercise, what kind of food, what kind of healthy food, what kind of activity. So somehow I try to balance it. And then so what I try to say is like, you know, spiritual part really helps, you know, because that's like the source of everything, like guard your heart because that's the source of your life. But then of course we are being spiritual doesn't mean that we have to ignore other part, right? But then you can also work on the other part, that which is very helpful. Yeah. So I think although I'm a professional in this field, but it doesn't mean that I don't have to take care of this part of me, but I'm still working on it. Yeah, day by day, week by week. So I need to be aware, okay, how about my emotion, how about mentally, everything. So this is our responsibility to take good care of all these things. Yeah. So maybe that, yeah, that answer. And because I'm in the PWA ministry, so I also see how even elderly, they also learn how to balance everything. Yeah. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's good also to hear their story. Mm.
Yeah, I remember seeing like your Zoom with them and how even elder people can use Zoom and they can, you know, like chat and talk about how their days go. So it's really inspiring to see even how older people can take care of each other.
Yeah, and we do touring as well. You know, we have a lot of tour virtual to Europe, to US, to Labuan Bajo, and then they wear all the like, you know, the black
They
and glass and with the hat, everything. I mean, there are ways to. I mean, although it's COVID time, it's not easy time, but we have creative way, you know, to just enjoy life. Yeah. So usually they are like really looking forward for our another tour. Okay. So we have tour to Japan. Yeah. We have tour to, yeah, to Raja Ampat. Yeah.
Especially now that we can't travel, yeah, maybe that can be an idea that we can do.
Or the best time to travel. No, just kidding.
Don't listen to Jame, guys. Nanti Pepe. Okay, so now we're gonna close up in breakout rooms. So you'll be, please stay on and discuss if you can. And after the breakout room, we'll actually just end the call after that. So before that, just want to tell everyone that we do have the Bible studies. You can reach out to some of the people here, including me and Jame and TJ, and just feel free to also like you know, give your contact if you want to be invited to the Gem Talk group. Okay, so if
And before we go to the breakout room, I think wanna give a special thanks to Tante Alice for sharing today. So thank you so much for sharing, because it's personally it's very helpful, and I'm sure it's very helpful for everyone. So thank you so much, Tante Alice, for your time tonight to share with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks. It's a joy and privilege to be here too. Hope it's helpful for all of you.
yes, it is
Very
very
helpful.
helpful. And also you can feel free to leave because I know you might want to
Yeah.
rest right now.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, Tante. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you, Tata.
you. Bye.
We'll wait now because it's the breakout is being, yeah.